Hey there, music world. What's going on? Your old friend John here from What's Spinning. Here tonight to chat about this latest record from Kathryn Mohr. It is called Carve. Now, if you don't know, Kathryn is a Bay Area experimental artist. She's been at it over the last few years, really crafting her sound. And her discography is very quickly becoming one of the more fascinating yet unsettling in the modern experimental genres. Really started turning heads with As Is back in 2020, which was pretty damn minimal, almost to a fault at times. I mean, it was out there, almost to the point where it pushed me away at times. But there were flashes, moments where everything clicked. With her Holly follow-up record, this is where things really started to come together in her music. There was a little bit more structure, a little bit more finesse. But with that, Kathryn started pulling from Slowcore and Avant-Folk. And while it did get a little too heady in spots, I was definitely understanding what Kathryn was doing a lot more. Which leads me to her full-length debut, the Waiting Room record. And for me, this was a big step forward. Yes, it was still a very challenging listen. But Kathryn just sounded a whole lot more grounded in her song structures, and I really did appreciate the record for what it was. Now, leading up to this thing, Kathryn put out a couple of her best singles to date. I've been really pumped to chat about this thing. After a little bit of a rough start, which we will get to, Kathryn really kicks this album off strong with Doorway. There's this quiet intensity right off the bat. The acoustic riff that we get here is hypnotizing. The layering, the way that everything builds, this is exactly what I want to hear in her music. It's overwhelming, but in a very controlled way, and Kathryn's vocals are at their most harrowed immediately. They are just so stoic, but they hold everything together. I love it. Angel of Repose is very short, but very loud, very memorable, and it's honestly kind of terrifying with those very wiry guitars and that noisy and chaotic atmosphere. Then we have Commit, which is another big standout for me. Her vocals here, I just love the way that they are just like seemingly fighting through the noise to break free. Cries for help coming from deep within the static. And also, let me say, I do really enjoy this album's much more organic thoughts. Instrumentation, it really pays off, and it gives this album just the slight human edge that it really deserves. And Property, as far as I'm concerned, is the centerpiece of this record. It is the longest cut here. It's also the weirdest and most uncomfortable one, too. It just builds tension and tension and tension until you're completely locked in. It's the kind of track that will stop you in your tracks and sit you down and tell you that you need to hear this. Kathryn Mohr clearly is one of the more interesting vocalists in experimental and avant-folk right now. However, there are a few moments where this album gets maybe a little too out there still. Like with Bone Infection, this album's intro. Kathryn has always played with the, almost too much aesthetic. And as an opener, this track is kind of rough. Honestly, it leans so hard into that sound collage style. It just feels like such a backstep, especially after all the growing she's been doing over the last few years. We also have I Do, which feels chaotic in the worst way possible. Like it's just trying to keep up with itself, but it's losing itself in the process. And Cells isn't bad, but it really doesn't do a very good job of standing out either. And Crow Eyes as a finale, it's a tough one. It's definitely the loudest and most abrasive track here. But without the atmosphere or the emotional pull, the rest of this record, it just kind of exists. It just feels like noise for noise sake, which is just something that I'm not interested in. I'm sorry. However, I will say this, if you're slacking in avant-folk and dreary folk and weirdo folk, this might be a great time to dive back in. Like Idiocy, for example, this track is beautiful in the dreariest way. Dreamy guitars, tightly wound tension, and some of Kathryn's most chilling vocals pop in here. If you are a, Maria BC fan or even a Grouper fan, you're going to want to hear this. Owner is one of the heaviest tracks here, not in volume necessarily, but definitely in presence. It's slow burning, it's tense, it's suffocating. It just feels like being stuck in a sleep paralysis dream. Chromium 6, as far as I'm concerned, this track is pure dread. It's just so cold and desolate. It sounds like it was ripped from an analog horror short on YouTube. It's abstract, but it's incredibly effective, as is Trouble Me. Honestly, this might be the emotional cut of the record. This is like the core of the record. It's stripped down, it's bluesy, it's raw. Kathryn feels so exposed here. And honestly, it's mesmerizing. She is easily one of the more interesting voices in these genres right now. I just feel like there's a little bit of a backstep on this record. She's done so much growing so very fast. The singles she dropped leading up to this thing are some of her best tracks to date. But it's the consistency that keeps holding me back. It's the ideas that she pushes herself too far to the point where it's just noise for noise, and I'm not into that. Still, one of the more interesting voices in these genres right now. And if you're into Avant-Folk, you're going to want to hear this. I'm feeling a very light 7 on this album, but let me know what you all think down below. If you liked the video, be sure to give us a like, give us a subscribe, and let me know down below what you would like for me to chat about in the future. And until next time, have a great day, friends.